You are a magical being. You are magic. You're a multi-dimensional, divine, eternal consciousness that comes from the one, the all, the one creator of all. You come from her. Okay. That in and of itself is magical. You are magic. Every human, every being on this planet, you come from magic. You are magic. If you integrated that into your human self, your human life, your human existence, then evil couldn't exist on this planet. Here's our beliefs about magic. It's either ridiculous and woo woo and stupid and it's fake. What rituals have quote unquote turned into is evil and dark and satanic and awful. So, because of that, what is done in this cult led world, they want you to believe magic is either the fairy tale, stupid, fantasy, fake, woo woo, or you're so damn afraid of it, you'll never go anywhere near it. Hello, two sides of the same coin, done by design. Because if you go anywhere near and use a word like magic, or especially the word like ritual, something like that, you're a witch, you're evil, you're a Satan worshiper, you're a devil worshiper, you're a blah, 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 all the propaganda bullshit. The parasitic cult leaders of the world, they use magic on you every single day. They use spells, they use rituals that they trick you and coerce you into participating in and performing on yourself. You are magically casting spells against yourself constantly because that's the enslavement. Welcome to Masters of Self University podcast, your highest source of sacred truths and universal wisdom. Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Rachel Fiori, mystic, spiritual teacher, psychic healer, and founder of Masters of Self University. Join our journey of soul transformation as we deep dive into this latest episode. Hello, amazing beings and beautiful souls. Welcome to Masters of Self University podcast. I'm Rachel Fiori, CEO and founder of Masters of Self University and of this podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so excited to dive into this topic today. I cannot wait to talk to you about magic and ritual. What's been stolen from humanity? As y'all know, we were incarnated into a slave planet, a planet of imprisonment, and magic and ritual. Let's really get this right. Let's understand this on a higher level today. What is magic? What is ritual? What is the type of magic and ritual that we are coerced into participating in? Ooh, because we're slaves. Remember? Until we completely are no longer slaves. I want you to understand what that really means. Hopefully, by the end of this episode, you will. What kind of magic and ritual are used against us to enslave us? What does the word ritual even mean? And what kind of magic do you have or can you participate in that is of the light, that is healing, that is divine? Let's get some of this stuff straight, okay? Because I know there's a lot of confusion. There's also a lot of waking up to the magic that's used in the world. So here is the very first thing that I'm going to start with as we dive in here. You are a magical being. You are magic. You're a multi-dimensional, divine, eternal consciousness that comes from the one, the all, the one creator of all. You come from her. Okay, that in and of itself is magical. You are magic. Every human, every being on this planet, you come from magic, you are magic, you have magic. Science is just the low level of conscious human. Science is the best effort to prove and understand what magic is. That's what science is. Science is behind the 8 ball. Science is always going to be delayed and laxed and behind what magic and consciousness and mysticism is. Science is just, let me try to understand these magical things that I don't understand. That's all science is. Science isn't proving anything. It doesn't fucking prove anything. It allows us to understand some very mystical, magical, divine, wonderful, incredible things that our human brains have a very hard time comprehending and understanding, especially at such low levels of consciousness. Science is the attempt to understand magic, that which is what we don't understand. Okay? So, you are a magical being. You have access to magic, literally. And if you knew that, and I don't mean it an intellectual understanding, I mean if you knew that and you became it as a being of oneness consciousness, if you knew what you were and you evolved into this magical being, the truth of what you are, you connected that and integrated that with your human self, that magical, mystical, metaphysical, divine aspect of you, that's what you are. If you integrated that into your human self, your human life, your human existence, then evil couldn't exist on this planet. If you're coming from oneness consciousness, of course. The parasitic cult leaders of the world, that is the old earth system of patriarchy, they use magic on you every single day. They use spells, they use rituals that they trick you and coerce you into participating in and performing on yourself. You're using magic to trap you in suffering. You are using magic, your magical powers, to keep you in scarcity and unhealed and terrible health and lack and suffering and all the things. You're using magic to keep a whole group of people like you low and unconscious and down and can never get ahead. And you'll call it all the things that we are brainwashed and conditioned to call it. You'll call it anything other than you are magically casting spells against yourself constantly, because you are. Because that's the enslavement. So here's the deal. All these things, I'm going to go into specifics to help you understand, don't worry. But all of these things are put in place in our world because if the sociopaths that rule the world want to enslave an entire globe of people, they have to put a lot of hard work and effort in. They have to do a lot of rituals constantly. They have to perform a lot of magic. They have to cast a lot of spells. And when they do that, because they know energy, which is why they dumb you down and they keep all this, and they call schools, education, it's systems of indoctrination. They're dumbing you down and brainwashing you. You're not getting any real education. Education is priceless. True education is you learning what you are and how to evolve and cultivate all these magical, mystical, metaphysical gifts that you can tap into and utilize while you're here to co-create and have a beautiful existence. Create a new earth, create heaven on earth, all the things. You have the power to do it. But you are also, because you're so powerful, you are tricked into constantly casting spells on yourself so that you cannot heal, evolve, get ahead, get out of suffering, heal the scarcity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You're tricked into casting spells on yourself. I'm going to give you specific examples as to how. You perform rituals that are satanic rituals and you don't even know, you think it's holy. If you're involved in any Abrahamic religion, let me tell you, you're praying to Satan. You fucking believe in God, say God, even. Those of you who are waking up for real, so you think, you still say the word God. That's Satan. You're tricked into using the words that keep that energy alive. You're tricked into, oh, it's insane to me that still people are, waking up for real. They are. I give credit where credit's due. You are. But I'm going to point some shit out to you. You spiritual people out there, you're so spiritual. And yet you're wearing crosses around your fucking necks as necklaces. Fuck spiritual. How clueless are you? You're still brainwashed puppet of patriarchy. You're wearing 2 torture sticks that murder and torture people are nailed to them. Do you know what that means? what you're wearing around your fucking neck. First of all, it is the severance of the divine feminine, because the Ankh key, they took the feminine oval that is the top, that is the creator. They removed that and made it 2 sticks to make it masculine only. So you're wearing misogyny. You're wearing rape culture around your neck. You're wearing the murder of the feminine, the degradation of, the demeaning of, the raping of the feminine around your neck. That's what you're wearing around your neck. Triggered yet? Anybody triggered yet? We're like 8.5 minutes in. You flipping out yet? Can you handle it? That's brainwashing. You are energetically promoting patriarchy, misogyny, Satan. You're promoting the mockery of Jesus and anybody else who was tortured and nailed to those 2 torture sticks. It's a fucking murdering torture device. And you're energetically, symbolically wearing that around your neck to worship Satan. Anybody going and participating in communion, drinking the blood of Christ, consuming the body of Christ, that's a satanic ritual. You are literally participating in satanic rituals. Oh, but only once a year for Christmas. You're performing a satanic ritual then, if that's the only time you go to church and do communion. If you go every Sunday, you're performing and engaging in satanic rituals, because satanic rituals, those types of rituals, are blood, murder, sacrifice, eating flesh, drinking people's blood. That's satanic worship, and you're participating in it willingly. Clueless to the fact, dumb and blind to what you're doing and what you're promoting and anchoring in on the planet. Yeah, that's where we're at. That's magic and ritual, but it's for the side of evil. You're tricked. This is wholly, it's fucking satanic. You're doing a satanic ritual. You're promoting the sacrifice, and you're mocking Jesus and what he went through and how he was murdered. Like, that's what we're participating in. Okay. Spells are cast all the time, every day of our lives on us. And then we are tricked into casting them on ourselves energetically. When you learn higher levels of energetics, this is what you understand energetically, what we are actually doing to ourselves, because we're tricked into doing it. Is what brainwashing is. And then you fight for it. That's the other funny thing about it. No critical thinking skills, no ability to heal and elevate and rise higher and actually become a truly divine being instead of a satanic worshiper. Yeah, I go to church every Sunday. I don't worship Satan. You're praying to Satan. That's why you're there. That's what it is. But okay. Wake up if you want to or not. I'm just here to teach you the truth. So, magic and ritual, if we knew how magical we were and how powerful we were, then we would easily be able to perform magic for our own lives to help heal this whole world. And guess what? To dissolve patriarchy and the old earth and all the elite satanic ritualistic abusers, parasitic cult leaders that rule this world and all the governments across the whole world. Patriarchy is. We couldn't be enslaved if we realized how magical and powerful we are. I don't like the word ritual because of what they've turned it into. Ritual, we associate, this is done by design, it's on purpose, but ritual we've been conditioned to think that word, ritualistic or ritual, is evil, because it usually is with the way they use it, of course. Rituals, let me say another word, sacred ceremony. When you perform energetic sacred ceremonies, when you actually learn what magic actually is, and I'm going to get to that in a minute, and you actually ignite the magical, mystical being that you are, and you start working with magic, you can work with magic. I'm not talking about, all the bullshit in the collective that they want you to believe about this stuff. That's propaganda. It's done by design. It's also done to keep you trapped in evil and darkness. And here's our beliefs about magic. It's either ridiculous and woo-woo and stupid, and it's fake anyway. That's one thing. Fake even in, the movies and the TV shows that are put out, series and things that are put out. It's all fantasy. Make believe. Okay. So that if you believe in anything like that, you're stupid and weird or woo-woo, or you've lost your mind or whatever. Like, that's done by design. They'll put this shit right in front of your face, the truth of what you are. But you'll be like, it's a TV show. It doesn't mean it isn't over exaggerated or dramatized or, taken to extremes for entertainment purposes for a TV series or a movie or something. Of course it is. But the truth is actually put out right in front of your faces. It's right there for you to see it. The magic that exists in this world and in all of us. Okay. So let me get back to the word ritual. Rituals have always been performed since the beginning of this earth, this planet. And rituals, I'm going to now change that word mostly to sacred ceremony. A sacred ceremony is coming from a place of oneness. It's coming from divinity. Okay. What rituals have quote unquote turned into is evil and dark and satanic and awful. So because of that, what is done in this cult-led world, they want you to believe magic is either the fairy tale, stupid, fantasy, fake, woo-woo, you're weird if you believe in it, something's wrong with you, whatever, or you're so damn afraid of it, you'll never go anywhere near it. Hello, two sides of the same coin, done by design. Because if you go anywhere near and use a word like magic, or especially the word like ritual, something like that, you're a witch, you're evil, you're a Satan worshiper, you're a devil worshiper, you're a blah, 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 all the propaganda bullshit. Guess what? The people putting all that out, they're the ones doing it behind the scenes, casting spells on you. This whole world, magic is used against you every day of your lives. So how are you tricked into casting spells on yourself? Let's just touch base on that a little bit. Because I just want to do an overview of all this, give you a little better understanding. Okay. You cast spells on yourself by a group of people will be treated horrifically. Again, the group of people will be chosen to be treated completely horrific. That's the trend. So let's be extremely racist, for example. Let's create slaves that way. We create slaves that way. And then we dehumanize them in all the ways we can dehumanize this group of people, right? People with dark skin. And when we do that, we know inevitably there's always going to be a point in time, we, the sadistic elite cult leaders of the world, we always know that at some point they're going to rise up and cause a problem and not just be slaves anymore. And they're going to fight back. They always know that because your divine nature is not to be a slave of anybody. So there's always going to be a point where there's like some revolution type pushback, rising up, whatever. And when that happens, how can we trick them into making themselves slaves for us? So they work really hard to make you slaves, and then they trick you into enslaving yourselves and doing the hard work for them. Then they sit back and reap all the benefits. The N word is a perfect example. Highly melanated people are called the N word at one point when they were slaves. And then we do stupid shit like cultural appropriation. Oh, I'm going to take that word and take the power out of it by just calling us each other that word. And only we are allowed to use that word. Anybody else is racist. We can use that word with each other. The fucking stupidity. Oh, you just did all their work for them. Because you're casting spells on yourself every time you do that. That's what you are. There's an energetic frequency with that word. And you already know the definition of it, but it has been used in society to make you the slave. That word, again, you know the actual literal definition. If you don't, look it up. But that word energetically was used to make you and hold you energetically in the vibrational frequency of being a slave. See, they know all the magic. They know how energy works. You don't, which is how they easily use it against us. It's why they dumb us down and don't educate us in anything. Real education versus indoctrination, right? So you think, oh, look, I'm taking power back by using the word on each other. You're keeping the whole group of people, when you use that word, low. You're keeping each other as slaves in so many ways, on so many levels. Let that sink in. Triggered yet? We're now 18 and a half minutes in. Anybody triggered yet and want to flip the fuck out in the comments? Don't bother. If you're not ready to wake up for real and understand energetics and magic, you will be a slave on old earth for the rest of your lifetime. That is okay. I'm not doing that. I'm here to teach people how to not do that anymore. You're constantly casting spells on each other. Okay, let's go to misogyny as another example. How disgustingly women are depicted. I mean, in every aspect of our lives, but let's just pick music. Okay, as one example. All of the derogatory words, bitches, hoes, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And of course, the trend of that decade tends to change of what we call them. All of it's misogyny, all of it's demeaning and degrading, you know, and it doesn't matter because the trends come back around, whether it's slut here, hoe there, whore that, bitch, whatever. Okay. Women will then turn around and be like, oh, look, I'm going to take the power out of that. And we'll just call each other bitches. And although that didn't catch on to the extent of like my previous example, it caught on enough that women do it. You're keeping yourselves down at that level, at the level of consciousness that would call you that to begin with. So instead of rising above the frequency, you're consenting to the frequency and just calling each other that. And then you keep each other at that low frequency. That's how energy works. You want advanced classes in energetics? Become a student at Masters of Self University. You learn energetics and what it really does to your body, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Okay. And you all just want to be like writing in your manifestation journal, thinking you're going to change your entire life. You don't know energy when that's all you're doing. By the way, how are you going to write something down and then it just magically appears? Isn't that magic? Okay. So magic and ritual, they are used against us constantly with the words we speak all the time. This is a fun rabbit hole to go down, by the way. Our language, we're casting spells and actually cursing, curses and hexes on ourselves all the time. And the English language, of course, is like the worst language on the planet at doing that. Again, done by design. It's done by design. So there are certain things that certain phrases or words that I have been breaking the habit of, and I still slip up sometimes by accident because it's just such a conditioned, pattern. But one of the words is blessed. How many times do you say, if somebody sneezes, bless you? Or, oh, I'm so blessed. Every once in a while, I'll say that word blessed still. But I'm trying to eliminate it completely. And I don't make that mistake very often. Be less. Bless you, be less you. It's done on purpose. Guess what? I already talked about highly melanated people. We're all shades of brown. There's no such thing as black and white. This skin is not white. This is a very light shade of brown. We're all brown. How dark brown versus how light is wide variety there, isn't there? And yet this is not actually, my skin is not actually white. Like that doesn't even make any sense to call it that. Now, why does that even matter? Look, I'm going to hold my white notebook up next to my skin. My skin is not white. Okay. Now, why does that matter? For the most part, it doesn't, except when it comes to people who are dark. What do we call them? You all with very dark skin. Black. First of all, your skin isn't actually black. Same thing. Dark, dark, dark brown. Some of you, darkest of brown, just like some people are the lightest, 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 lightest shade of brown. But here's where I'm breaking the habit to try to not refer to anybody by that color as referring to their skin. Be black, black, be black. The truth is your skin isn't actually black. So it isn't a truth to call that somebody's skin. Just like it isn't a truth to call me white. That's not the color. What's more harmful is when you refer to yourselves or to other people with dark skin as black, you're always constantly casting the spell of be lack. Just keep be lack, 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 lack. Now, if you look around at the population of people, especially in the United States, and a group of people who are still struggling to get ahead. And of course, things are changing. People really are waking up to stuff. They really are. Spiritual awakening is real. People really are rising and they're raising their level of consciousness, which is a beautiful thing. We want this more and more. But when you constantly cast spells to be lack, you're literally commanding your reality to be lack. To understand the power of language. So I would encourage you, if you haven't heard of this or you haven't done this yet, go down the rabbit hole of our language and how we cast spells constantly with the words that we use. Weekdays, you're in a weekdays. There are words that we are casting these little spells every day. And every time you refer to something in a judgmental or a critical way, yourself, your life, you are literally casting a spell on it. Now, what does it mean to cast a spell? This is magic. Why is it magic? Because it's energy and we are nothing but energy. Because you're an eternal, divine soul having a human experience. You're a multidimensional being. You're not just a stupid, dumb fucking person, even if you're showing up that way in this lifetime. It isn't the truth of what you are. It isn't. You're magical. You're mystical. Your human self is temporary. The mystical, magical light that you actually are in truth. That's the eternal consciousness that you are. You have magical powers because of that. Okay. So my encouragement to you is open your heart, connect to your divine soul, and start to allow yourself to feel the magic of your soul. Your soul is magic. When you wake up more and more and more, you can have an existence and a life that is filled with mysticism. It is filled with magic, and you can actually perform magic to create things and co-create and manifest and enjoy, and it is so fun. So the ways to magic, I do always teach everything as the mystic that I am. I am the teacher of oneness consciousness. I am always going to teach everything rooted in the 20 universal ways of oneness, in becoming a being of oneness consciousness. That's what I teach everyone. Okay. Now I'm reminding you of that because when you realize you're a magical being and you can perform and I mean real magic, to change your life, to heal yourself, to create a new earth, to create a world for yourself, your own life to live in, that is mystical and magical and fun and amazing and incredible. And it doesn't mean you suddenly challenges cease to exist. That don't come on, let's not be in ignorance here. But you can create magic, a magical existence from the magic that you are. Now, why would I encourage you to start to explore that? Meaning, explore the magic that you are. Tap into the magic that you have inside. Your soul is magic. Tap into it. Allow yourself to start to feel that from within. Now, as a teacher of oneness consciousness, okay, as a mystic of oneness, I am only ever going to teach exploring magic and magical practices, for example, enchantments and things that are really fun and beautiful and divine, coming from the ways of oneness. So hear me on this. The reason this world is evil and a prison planet is because we are in a literal spiritual war. Literally, we are beyond what most people can comprehend. And I know many of you are waking up more and more to what that actually means. Good for you. I applaud you for that. But in this spiritual war, magic is being used all the time. Energetics, they're being used all the time. The evil side. Magic is just magic. Magic is just what it is, and it's neutral. Magic is magic. So if people of low level of consciousness, people in their shadow aspects, people that are evil, people that are cult leaders and they're parasites, they want to suck the life force energy out of you. They want you to be their slave. If those types of people use magic, you're going to get what you see in the world today. Okay. Rituals are being completed all of the time by governments, satanic rituals beneath the Vatican. The Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church, is one of the biggest cult leaders of the whole world. They do nothing but satanic rituals, satanic ritualistic abuse. They teach you how to do it. They are the elitists when it comes to that. Okay. We've had a guest on our podcast twice now who is a survivor of that. And she can't even tell you a fraction of what her experiences were because it would get taken down and removed because it's that horrific. So the worst of the worst of the worst that you could ever watch in like a movie or something, that's all real. And the rituals, these are all rituals of magic in order to control people and enslave people and weaken people and attack people and attach entities to them and do all the things. All of that stuff is real. Now, when it comes to magic, why would you bother waking up to the fact that you're a magical being? Well, how else are you going to expand divine magic on the planet so that evil can't exist anymore? You're going to connect to your power. You're going to become the ways of oneness. And when you do things, when I teach things like, let's learn higher levels of energetics in our, second year, third year classes at Masters of Self University, for example. And then third year students get to start to learn like magic. But what does that mean from a place of divinity? I'm not talking about magic tricks, and I'm not talking about just being able to manifest something stupid. I'm talking about learning how to use magic to remove binds and hexes and curses. And no, you don't have to do some crazy witchcraft voodoo. Again, propaganda, brainwashing with that stuff. It's just learning the magical nature that you are. So you can learn what it means to remove things that you don't even know are there. So the way that I teach things, for example, is learning higher levels of energetics first, scanning your body, scanning your energy fields, and actually being able to translate the energy that's there. What's that there? Oh my gosh, that's an old inner child wound hanging out in my energy field. That's affecting my sacral chakra, for example. And that's creating this in my body. It's also creating the mental, emotional dysregulation of like, that's what you learn how to do all of that. Then the higher level of that is, okay, because we're beings of oneness consciousness and we come from the universal ways of oneness, and we're going to activate these enlightened frequencies of oneness and use that in magic. Let's use oneness consciousness, enlightened frequencies to remove spells, attacks, curses, hexes, attachments, etc. Okay, so any bindings that are there, you can magically just remove them, but you have to be powerful enough and understand energetics. If you don't understand energetics, I don't recommend you do it. We live in the fucking upside down world, for Christ's sake. You don't know enough about it to be messing with it. That doesn't mean you yourself, like magic is outside of you. You yourself are a magical being. You come here through magic. Women are portals of magic, creating beings physically, bringing them into this world. That in and of itself is magical, right? So when we explore a topic like this, what's been stolen from humanity is the magical essence that you are. They steal your magic and use it for themselves. Okay? Women are very powerful magical beings. And in this patriarchal society, in this extraordinarily misogynistic society, the whole sell you the bullshit of get married, live fantasy, have kids, blah, blah, blah. It's devoting in a very sexist, misogynistic, oppressive society for women. Women then pour all of their energy into their husbands, into their children. They get sucked the life out of them. All their magical essence goes into his success, his everything. That's what patriarchy has used women for forever. That's why women are so oppressed in this society. It's why the rights of women are being taken away so much. Because if you're suffering and you're low in your vibration, they can continue to take and pull your magic out of you and use it for their own success, use it for their own rising up in materialism and whatever they want to use it for, fame, fortune, blah, blah, blah. But when you unplug from that and the magic that you are can no longer be harvested, then that system comes crashing down. Women are powerful magicians, powerful goddesses and magicians. And I've mentioned it before. Stop with the dark goddess bullshit. Stop it. You're feeding into the misogyny crap. Women are the light. We are the creators. We are nothing but the light. Stop calling us dark. Don't twist it around. Powerful divine women, powerful divine creator beings, powerful divine goddesses go into the darkness with zero fear and transform that darkness into the light that they are. Women are portals because we are the light and the creator ourselves in human form. So it's time that you started to connect to that magic and understand it at a much higher level of consciousness instead of just grabbing your book of spells and calling yourselves witchy or whatever you want to do. There's no judgment in that. I'm never, ever, ever judging. I'm educating. There's a difference. Evolve into the highest version of you. Okay. So for men, for example, so women, there are things that and there are, again, third-year students will start to learn this stuff at Masters of Self University. There are enchantments and things that you can do to create and manifest, and women will do an enchantment and utilize their womb chakra that bursts everything into existence. For men, they're bringing into their heart chakra. So they'll do the almost exactly the same enchantment, but they bring it into their heart. You don't have a womb chakra. Listen, I don't care what anybody else wants to tell you. You go ahead and believe and explore whatever you want to. I'm never here to force you to do anything. But there are gurus that have been in the world, and one in particular, I'm not going to say his name, but one in particular from India, who is no longer with us. He died at a very young age. But his entire life he spent teaching about the womb chakra and these ancient scrolls, taught from these ancient scrolls and blah, blah, blah. And teaches that men have womb chakras And all of his followers and disciples that have learned from him teach that men have womb chakras. You're not a woman, so you don't. Here's the silliness and the ridiculousness of this. Is he also then teaches for men to be able to utilize their womb chakra, they have to connect to their mother and manifest and use their mother's womb chakra. Well, if you have your own, why the fuck you got to connect to a woman? Okay. Now, these are powerful teachings that a lot of people in the world follow. And here's what I want to shake the shit out of people. Okay, stop following patriarchal gurus who may be giving you a lot of the truth to make it more believable. But isn't it funny how the men always have to then connect and siphon energy from women? Well, it's your mom. Connect to your mother's womb chakra, men, and use hers. So if you cannot be at a level of consciousness that you hear that and learn that from a quote unquote so-called guru and realize that men need to stop siphoning women's energy, and you as women are like buying into this shit, you're not so awakened after all. What's happening in that case is the men who are learning that are siphoning the magical essence of woman and using it for themselves. You're teaching men to be weak, powerless, and a fucking leech. Divine men are not weak and they are not powerless. Now, men use magic. When it comes to certain things, men will have to learn their own magical powers and use different aspects of themselves in a different way because they're not women. There's a very distinct difference between a biological man and a biological woman. Women have a different essence and have different powers compared to men. We are supposed to be different. There's nothing wrong with that. That's okay, right? But I'm pointing this out because even in these spiritual gurus that teach and I mean, come on, you're still teaching you're still a patriarchal guru that is siphoning the feminine and the magical powers of women for your own good and your own benefit. Okay, that's misogyny and that's patriarchy and it's brainwashing and enough's enough. So the magic that you have, men, I cannot encourage you enough. Open your hearts, become a heart-centered being. Get out of your stupid fucking minds, drop into your heart, activate your heart chakra and grow your heart chakra. Now, is that the only thing you ever need to do to access the magical divine powers that you have as men? No, of course not. But it is the main thing you need to do, and it is where you start, and it is also where you elevate the most. Okay? So you want to tap more and more into magical powers and mysticism as men. That's where you start. That is your main focus. Now, for women, you started your heart chakra as well. That's where you start. Same thing. You both start in the same place. And then the more powerful women become, the more they heal. Same as men, more they heal. But men will stay in their heart chakras. Okay. Women will evolve to functioning in the heart and the womb chakras mostly for magic. Now, for magic, women will shift into the womb. Now, listen, I know a lot of you out there, you do womb work, you learn stuff from other people who really, focus on that. That's beautiful. That's great. Absolutely fabulous. I'm going to say a but. And of course, this is never, ever, ever judgment. I am very pleased that womb work and all that stuff is coming to the surface more and more and more over the years, as I'm observing and witnessing it. And it's fabulous. It's fantastic. Okay. I want you to be careful because if you did not first become a heart-centered being, if you did not elevate to become a being of oneness consciousness before you tapped into the degree of power that women have with their womb chakras is out of this fucking world. Literally, it is multidimensional. It is a portal. Every woman is a portal. You have a physical portal. That is your physical womb. You have an energetic portal outside of that, which is your womb chakra. You're very, very, very powerful channel, and a physical and etheric channel, portal, all at the same time, women. Okay. So how I teach things, you become heart-centered, you heal your wounding, you heal your programming, you raise your level of consciousness, you become each and every universal way of oneness, at least those first 3 levels. You are actively becoming a being of oneness, not that severance, separation, dualistic, polarized, opposite, never in balance. That's old earth. You have to shift out of that. The more you elevate out of that and you become a being of oneness consciousness, heal all your wounds, no more traumas held in the body, and then you activate the womb chakra and start to use the womb chakra, the portal that is a multidimensional portal, to manifest things that you can't even imagine, especially the more powerful you become in your divinity as a woman on this planet. That womb chakra is one of the most powerful, mystical, magical aspects that a being can have. And you can use that to manifest and co-create incredible, incredible things. You can heal so much on this planet just through your womb chakra. But we come from old earth, the upside down world where everything is done half-assed, backwards. So a lot of women are diving into that because it sounds amazing and fun and great, but they're not healed from their traumas. They're not heart-centered yet. They're trapped in their mind. They're in spiritual bypassing. You don't want to activate a womb chakra because it is incredibly powerful when you're coming from trauma and wounds. But this is how I heal all my wounds, is through my womb chakra. Actually, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Because that portal has powers that most people can't begin to comprehend. Guess what? That's what the cult sadistic leaders of the world want you to fuck around and find out, because you'll screw it up and you'll create things for yourself that you can't imagine. It's simply out of ignorance. And because you're not quite powerful enough in your energetic frequency to handle what it is that you're creating. The magical you is just the most amazing you. Every one of you, woman, man, animal, plants, nature beings, like, you are so magical and so incredible and so mystical, but you need to become the way of responsibility and the way of integrity and the way of wisdom, and realize that because we have been enslaved and dumbed down for so fucking long, that because you wake up a little bit and tap into some fun things with spirituality, you suddenly can do anything and everything just because you want to. That is a reckless, immature, irresponsible, ignorant child, which means you are then easily coerced to creating things for the side of evil in this spiritual war, and you have no idea you're doing it. It's time to not be irresponsible, obnoxious, entitled little fucking children anymore. We have to wake up for real. And that means learning how to cultivate these things from a level of responsibility, harmlessness, and gentleness. Loyalty, purity as the way of purity, harmony, that everything we create through our magic is harmonious. It creates more harmony on the planet, not, oops, I didn't know what I was doing, so I created whatever I created. And you wouldn't even know the karma that, say, 7 years down the line, some shit will happen. It's like, well, because you created it like 7 years ago. It doesn't have to come back right away. It's time to not embrace that spiritual ego and live in such ignorance. It's time to see a level that we're on, master that level, go to the next level higher, master that level, go the next level higher. A lot of you came here to really help create a new earth and heal this planet. That's how you do it. You don't do it by being ignorant, entitled, reckless, arrogant, acting like you know more than you fucking do. That's got to go. The way of humility is one of the ways for a reason. You're not a being of oneness consciousness if you lack humility. It's okay to not know shit. It's okay to be in ignorance. It's not okay to stay in ignorance. It's not okay to refuse to become more knowledgeable and gain the wisdom you need. That's what's not okay. But where you're at right now in this moment is perfectly okay. And I've taught this before, and I say it all the time in our classes. I remind people, like, where you're at is okay. Refusing to go higher is what's not. You understand? So when it comes to magic and using the universal ways of oneness infused in the magic that we create, those are future classes at Masters of Self University. The ways to magic, the ways to enchantments, because we're coming from oneness, the highest level of enlightened frequencies that we can become and utilize while we're here. Okay. So that becoming of a being of oneness consciousness, oh, it makes you more magical in and of itself. And I have a client recently that told me, and I can't really reveal anything because confidentiality. I would never want to, breach that trust. I am the way of trust. But I can tell you that one of the things that he said to me and he shared with me in a session, miracle after miracle after miracle, because he's becoming the ways. And he hasn't even learned anything. He isn't even in a third year class of learning magic or anything, right? But it's the mystical magic that starts to come online for you, the miracles that you can actually create just by learning more advanced levels of energetics. It just starts to happen. Okay. If you want to have a better idea of what we are capable of as humans, how we were meant to live and how we can live, go watch quote unquote sci-fi. Go watch the fantasy movies. Go watch the fantasy TV shows. And yes, again, over exaggerated, over dramatized for entertainment to catch your attention. Yes, of course, of course, of course. However, the magic is real. And the magic inside of you is real. Are you ready to harness it? Are you ready to use it? Are you ready to play with it with a divine level of responsibility as the way of responsibility and integrity and harmlessness and gentleness? Are you ready to create more magic on the planet? I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. If there were 1,000 of us out of 8 billion people on this damn planet, if there were just 1,000, that's all it would take. 1,000 who would devote themselves to becoming the universal ways of oneness, a being of oneness consciousness. 1,000 of us who become, we reach a certain level, and we start performing magic on this planet from that level of oneness. This world would flip right side up, and it would only take 1,000 of us. It would only take 1,000 of us. You just cannot begin to comprehend how powerful you are. You are magical. You are extraordinary. And guess what? For any of you who feel like, oh my gosh, but I've been so trapped and I've been stuck in suffering and I've tried everything and I don't feel magical. Oh my gosh, that's an evidence of your magic. That is the evidence of your magic, because you are constantly casting spells that you don't even realize you're casting. That's how powerful you are. You're constantly shooting yourself in the foot. You're not doing it on purpose. We wouldn't do that on purpose. We're tricked and coerced into using our magic to keep us in suffering, to keep us low, to make sure we resist healing and elevating and seeing our stupid, ugly shadow selves and our shit. It's done by design. You're literally using your magic against yourself pretty much every day of your lives for most people. Okay. And you're doing it completely unknowingly. But I want you to see, it's nothing to be negative about or, oh no, just hear me when I teach this to you, because that's how powerful you are. You're powerful enough to create complete misery and a trap that you can't get out of. You can get out of it, but that's what you're tricked. Constantly casting spell. How do you refer to your friends? What do you call yourselves? How do you label yourself? There's spell casting going on in our everyday language. And even working on some of that starts to break the spells, and you unplug from being in that vibrational frequency that you keep reinforcing all of the time. So hear me when I say this. You can write in your manifestation journal, and do your vision boards and do whatever the hell you want to learn and pay people to learn manifestation tech. You can do all whatever the hell you want. And you're so powerful that sometimes you'll manifest and get what you want. That's how powerful you are. But you also don't understand magic and energy at higher levels yet, to where you can't understand why things don't work. You're constantly using your magic to make sure they don't work. And you're not realizing how or why. Do you hear me? Like, that's how powerful you are. You're using your own magic against yourselves. That's the world we live in. We live in the upside down world. So you are incredibly magical and powerful and mystical. You have divine power that you can do so much with for your own life and for others. But you have to heal and evolve and get rid of that shadow self and heal your traumas. That's step one. That's where you need to start. And that's where you need to never stop until it's all gone. That's part of this. Okay. Becoming higher frequencies and learning to work with higher levels of energetics makes the magic, when you do participate in it, way more powerful. Guess what? Divinity is always more powerful in darkness. There's no match. Why do you think the cult leaders of the world don't want you to know you're divine and you're powerful and you're magical? So that you won't use your magic for the light side, the good side of the war, of the spiritual war. Light versus dark, right? It's so that you won't use your magic to heal yourselves and elevate this planet and everyone on it. Because we could do it easily. So easily. Y'all need to understand, so easily. But doing it easily does not mean it isn't warriors' work because of what we've incarnated into. It doesn't mean you can do it in a weekend class or a week or a year. You have to become, and you have to learn how to use it within the way of integrity and the way of loyalty and the way of honoring and the way of trust and the way of truth. Do you understand? And the way of connection to pure divinity, to harmonize the planet and your own individual life. Do you understand? Coming from the ways of oneness. Oh, if we could just become just 1,000 of us. Let's start with 100. Come to Masters of Self University. This is what we teach you here. This is what you become here. I would love for you to join us. You are magic. Okay. When you become powerful enough, remember, all your traumas, your shadows, weaken you. It weakens you. It weakens you. So you need to elevate, alchemize, transform that, connect to pure divinity, nothing else, no other negative frequencies, no false light. The divinity, the true divinity that you are, the universal ways of oneness. Okay. The more you become that, and then you start to activate your magic and use it, miracles happen, fun happens. And if 1,000 of us can do it together, this entire world will change in a flash. So I invite you to be one of the 1,000. Have fun. Say to yourself out loud, the truth of what I am is I am magic. I am magic. The truth of what I am is I am magic. I am magical. I am mystical. I am divinely powerful. I am divine magic. Say that to yourself and see how that feels, because it's the truth. So I hope you keep elevating and healing. I hope you use your magical powers to create a beautiful life for yourself and everyone else. And if you want assistance and help in getting there, become a student at Masters of Self University. That's all for now. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'll see you in the next one.